There's no doubt about it. I remember speaking to one of my mentors in the guy who really kind of lit my passion for the whole microbiome research when I was a young doctor, Professor Fergus Shanahan. And he said, Alan, the top 3 determinants of gut microbiome health are food, food, and food. So as adults, we can't minimize it. We just can't minimize the effect that food has on our digestive health. And I mean, we've just had some chats just now that we just went to the 20,000 feet view, right? We talked about the history of the earth and
short-chain fatty acids.
And short-chain fatty acids. We've gone really, but what does it come back to on a practical basis in terms of preventing these digestive health problems? It just comes back to daily practices that are very achievable and very doable, and you can make those changes very practically. In the Gut Health Revolution course, we have 4 threads to it, 4 evidence-based threads to improving your digestive health. We've got the food. Yeah. So you can either gradually jump in or you can step it up every week, where we just get you to increase the diversity of plants in your diet. You don't have to go completely plant-based, although we like you to, but you don't have to. And we have a step-up meal plan where you can just gradually increase the fiber and the diversity. We have those healthy lifestyle things. You guys talk about community and time outdoors and exercise and sleep, really important. We've got the knowledge component. So that's the third component. Me and the amazing Rosie Martin, just answering all those questions. What is SIBO? Do I need to worry about lectins?
Maybe just talk about SIBO there, because I know that's
I
quite
will.
topical.
We'll come back to it. Okay. And then the 4th thread is mindfulness.
And
mindfulness with Simone.
Because you made us, so we had a course called Happy Gut, which we ran for 4 years, maybe 5 years or something. And
with Dr. Allen.
Dr. Allen. And we had more than 25,000 people through it. So we had loads of people through it, and it was really, really wonderful. And then we kind of changed it and we readdressed and we put all the learnings from that, and we created a course called Gut Health Revolution. And in this one, you kind of insisted that we had a mindfulness aspect. Could you talk about why the importance
and why stress is so damaging to our microbiome?
Well, it's damaging to our digestive health in general, and our overall health. I mean, obviously, look, low level stress could be a good thing if you've got an exam or you're running a marathon or you need to perform at work today. A little bit of stress is good. You're aware of that stress, and it's, that's a good thing, But 21st century life is very stressful indeed, right? God knows we've just come through pandemic and everything, so it's super, super stressful. We're always on the email. We've got demands, financial worries, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're supposed to be everything to everybody. Life is stressful. And stress and digestive health are intimately connected. Often at clinic, I'll spend some time speaking to a patient who might do 15, 30 minutes, 45 minutes before they come around to saying to me, because we've talked about food and medication, we've organized all the investigations and things that we do in gastroenterology clinics, all the scans and blood tests and stool tests, all the rest of it. And the patient will kind of say to me slightly shyly, "Doctor, does stress have anything to do with it?" I was like, absolutely. I'm glad you asked. And that's normal. Don't be embarrassed by that. Don't be ashamed by that. Everyone is stressed. And yes, stress affects your digestive health. So, Steve, you've got excellent digestive health. So if you walked out of this room right now and you saw a horrible car accident or you received some, God forbid, terrible news, what will happen? You might feel nauseous. You might vomit. If it makes you feel extremely anxious, you might run to the bathroom and have diarrhea. You might feel constipated for a few days. You might meet Dave for breakfast in the morning and he'll say, "Oh, you're not eating your porridge." You say, "Yeah, I know, my appetite's terrible. This terrible thing happened yesterday. I'm still not quite right." And everyone would understand. That's normal. People get that. And that's a really good example of a psychological stress completely turning your digestive health on its head, reducing your gastric emptying, reducing your appetite, making you feel nauseous, slowing down the contractility of your gut so you don't get contractility.
That's a lovely word.
We're learning a lot of words today.
Yeah.
We're learning a lot of words today. And slowing down peristalsis.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, no,
I
I
know
knew
that.
that one. I
That's a
remember
good
that one from
Okay.
biology.
And so that's just purely emotional response. So let's take that horrible experience that imaginary Steve just had and let's dial it down by 80%. So now you're just generally stressed out on a day-to-day basis. You're under pressure. You're going through a difficult time, whatever. Those same changes happen. So gastric emptying gets slowed, which changes the environment within your digestive tract, which changes how you enjoy food, which means you're going to eat a little bit differently. So now the environment that's provided to your gut microbiome is a little bit different. You'll have shifts in your gut microbial population. You won't be pooping so often because now you're eating less healthy foods and your gut contractility has been reduced by all of this stress. So it's very, very linked. And if you don't solve that stress, I sometimes say to patients when they ask me that question, I'm glad you asked that question. Are you stressed? Have you been going through a stressful period? And they'll say, well, yes, we're selling our house, or I've just gotten divorced, or, I lost my parent, or, I'm caring for my kid who's got special needs. I mean, this is real life, And I will often say to them, well, look, I'm glad you asked that question because we're going to do some stuff for your tummy. But really, if we don't sort out your head, we're not going to sort out your tummy. So we need to find a way that is going to help you to reduce that anxiety and stress. And it can be incredibly powerful. And there's been numerous studies on the benefits. We talked earlier about the concept of IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and how people find it so debilitating that they would give up a decade of their lifespan to get rid of it if they could. It's incredibly debilitating. So there was a nice study done last year where they used a mindfulness meditation for patients with this IBS diagnosis. And what they found is that 70%, all the prescription here wasn't food, it wasn't medication or anything. It was just a mindfulness stress reduction course. So they put these individuals on a pretty achievable mindfulness course, I think about 10 or 15 minutes of meditation per day. And 70% of the individuals found that their digestive health improved and that their symptoms reduced. And they got greater insight into how they responded to stress and how that manifested as tummy symptoms, and the concepts of being present and reacting and responding and getting insight in how to react and respond to stress were significantly shown to really improve digestive health. So based on my own clinical experience, based on the research that's out there, when we put the course together, and this was the thing where we kind of moved forward from the Happy Gut course, because as you know, the Happy Gut course was solely focused on food. It was food. But on this course, we not only do with the food, we have the lifestyle stuff, but we had to have the mindfulness in there as well. We needed to have some component in there so that people who are doing the Gut Health Revolution course with the goal of improving their digestive health, that if they are someone who identifies that they are stressed, then they have that component in there as well, because it really works. We sometimes call it calming the gut-brain axis, and it can be incredibly powerful.
Very good.
Wow. Yeah, because stress is something that's not often linked or even associated with gut health.
But it is once you say it there in terms of the emotional, that when you say, oh, I've lost my appetite due to it, like, then it makes it far easier.
But that's also entering the mainstream in gastroenterology, thank goodness, and I think a lot of, around in the UK in particular, a lot of clinics for patients with digestive health problems will use stress screening. So when you turn up at the clinic, you'll do a questionnaire that measures how stressed you are in your personal life, and then hopefully point you towards some resources.
It almost seems like, the word gastroenterologist, like it almost seems microbiomologist sounds more cutting edge now, because microbiome seems hotter and more cool and on trend, whereas gastroenterology sounds different. Just doesn't sound as cool.
I'm very proud of my title as a gastroenterologist.
Listen, I think you're fucking great, Al. I think you're amazing.
I worked very hard for this title.
I know you did. How many years was it again, study?
Well, it takes a long time to become a qualified doctor. I mean, that's the same for any health professional, So I went to med school in 1995, graduated in 2001. Then
so was 6 years to become a doctor.
Yeah, and then 2001 to 2012. To train up to be a gastroenterologist.
So 11 years
and 10 years practicing as a gastroenterologist. But I'm still learning every day. Like I said, I was reading
17 years.
I was reading a research paper on the plane flying over here, like the learning never stops,